This is the National Museum of Scotland in beautiful Edinburgh. This stunning location is about to host our very special art competition.
We're on the hunt for an exciting new artistic talent, and the next 12 candidates are poised ready to paint the portrait of a celebrity sitter in just 4 hours.
So who's got what it takes to impress our exacting judges? Welcome to Sky Art's Portrait Artist of the Year.
We're 3 weeks into our search to find Britain and Ireland's undiscovered artistic talent. And today another 12 artists stretch their canvases and pick up their brushes.
I'm sweating, trying to stay calm.
They're competing for a life-changing prize, a £10,000 commission for the Scottish National Portrait Gallery.
Do you know, I'm actually kind of relaxed, which is quite surprising, so I'm okay at the moment. Ask me again in an hour.
To be in with a chance, they have to impress our judges. Award-winning artist Tyshan Schurenberg, independent curator and art historian Kathleen Soriano, and head of contemporary at the Fine Art Society, Kate Bryan. And today, they've got their work cut out.
How do we get those down to 3?
So whose impressive composition?
My hands are shaking, you know.
And striking techniques.
They're a mess. I always start like this.
Will secure them a place in the semi-final.
So if she was a pile of house bricks, would you approach it any differently?
I should say yes, shouldn't I?
For those used to working in the privacy of their homes or studios, today is an entirely new challenge. Whether amateur or professional, each of our 12 artists has a unique set of concerns.
I've never done anything like this before. It's, I mean, really, I'm used to painting wildlife and pets mostly.
I'm going to have to stick quite strictly to what I've planned, otherwise I won't finish in time.
I can't even think about the idea of winning today. My whole family's coming down. I've asked them not to come tapping me on the shoulder.
The artists entered with a digital copy of their self-portrait, but today the originals are on display for the judges to examine the finer details.
Very sweet.
Quite troubled soul.
Vulnerable, I'd say.
Vulnerable.
It looks like a very accomplished portrait painter to me, and you're right, it is very sort of soul-searching and arresting, actually. I think you want to ask her, what can I do?
Yeah.
Can I help you?
But I worry about how much he's going to be able to do in 4 hours.
This is a very different expression.
This is not vulnerable.
I do like the absolute scrutiny, obviously, of the artists of themselves, but of us now.
I quite like it when you go to a gallery and you find yourself doing that to some paintings. And this is one of those, isn't it? It drags you right in.
I like the fact that he's got a classical illusion.
Yeah.
You know, he's showing, again, that he's put a bit of narrative into the painting. It's not just a straightforward portrait.
The background, I can't quite work out what that is. Is it?
I think it's 1970s pub wallpaper.
So this is a collage.
I didn't realise it was a collage when we looked at it on the image. I love this. This is really exciting to me. I just want it to start, the competition to start now, to watch them go.
It feels a little bit naive.
I just love to see difference in this competition. So if anyone does anything other than just put paint on canvas, I'm always kind of excited to see how that will turn out on the day.
Yeah, I agree. And here we have a more sort of academic work.
Yeah.
I'm immediately drawn to that because I see someone who knows how to paint. You know, and he's given it a little bit of a quirk by sticking the apple on the head.
Lovely reference there to Cézanne, who very famously painted apples and sort of built up like, the building blocks of what would later become Cubism.
But this is the great joy of a piece of art, that we all get something different from the apple. I thought it was a reference to this is a competition, and it was a William Tell.
Yes, that's what I thought.
And he's in there, and he could end up with a bolt in his head today, or he could be the big star. But that's what's great, isn't it? It's a springboard for our imaginations.
Springboard for our imagination.
God, that was good.
While setting up, artists get to see their competitors' work alongside their own.
really unusual. That's really cool, yeah.
22-year-old art graduate Sian Smith sold all her paintings at her degree show. While she can be sure of her talent, she's not so sure about today's setting.
It was quite of a shock because it's quite a bright background. I normally use quite subdued sort of colours in my paintings, so a wee bit of a challenge.
Oh, right, this is you. Oh, great job on the paintbrushes. Like, you've got some really great detail there on that.
Is that acrylic?
I think that's acrylic, yeah. Actually, my pose, I'm kind of sat right down in the gutter, and that's kind of where I see myself as an artist at the moment. So although I've been painting all my life, it's only now that I'm painting with, you know, in earnest.
Ex-professional cyclist, marketing manager and now part-time firefighter, Robin Poplett may be an amateur artist, but he's approaching this competition as he would any other campaign.
I brought everything, pretty much everything. I didn't want to have anything to be lacking or wanting for anything. Although it looks a bit chaotic, I have it in a very clear system for me.
Everyone has their view on the ideal face to paint.
Big features is good, or certainly strong features that sort of stick out and aren't sort of. I'll work with whatever.
I would like a haggard, old, bald man, somebody like me.
But today the artists don't have the luxury of choosing their sitter.
Artist, your sitter today is an award-winning songwriter, singer, musician, actor. He found fame with a little band called Spandau Ballet. So please welcome Gary Kemp. Nice to see you. Gary, nice to see you. Please, sit down, that's your chair. It looks like a nice, soft, comfortable seat.
I'm comfortable here, aren't I?
I'm assuming you've been painted before.
Only from a photograph, I've never sat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And are you a contemplative sort of person who sits and thinks about life?
I've got 3 little kids. In fact, that's the only reason I've done this, is to get away from them for a day. And have some peace and quiet.
I know what you mean, but you are working here, remember that?
It's work.
You are serving art.
Please give a welcome to Ashley Jensen. Starring in hit shows like Extras and Ugly Betty, Ashley has won over audiences both at home and abroad with her warmth and humour. Well now, you're a talkative actress. You're not going to be able to say a word today.
I know, this is a challenge for me, I'm telling you, being able to sit still and be quiet for this amount of time.
How do you think you're going to occupy your mind?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I think I'll have to clear it of... I must make a pot of soup. I must get the washing on. What time am I picking my son up? Just relax. I'll try and relax.
Yes.
Please welcome Daniela Nardini.
Since winning a BAFTA playing lawyer Anna Forbes in This Life, Daniela has continued performing in award-winning TV and theatre.
Please grab a lip.
Oh, it's nice and comfortable.
It is, that's one of the pluses, isn't it? And it sort of helps you in posture, I think, very supportive.
Yeah, it's very good.
I've tried it out just so I could empathise. Have you sat before? You must have.
A friend of mine sketched me and then painted me, but I've never sat for 4 hours.
Well, would you ever sit for 4 hours and just think?
No.
Well, you're going to be posed today by one of our astute judges. So please welcome Kathleen Soriano.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. Now, from your point of view, you need to probably find a single point of focus, and something that feels comfortable. OK, well, good luck, everybody.
So I think what we'll probably do is sit you cross-legged, if that's OK. With your
it's
legs.
a double-breasted jacket, but I think it has to be open, like all jackets have to be when you sit.
Yeah.
I will...
And so, yeah, excellent.
If you look out sort of in this direction, if you are to stand by your easels and see if you have a good view. OK, then. See you in 4 hours.
Thank you.
Artists, your canvases are prepared, your sitters are posed.
You have 4 hours to complete your portrait and your time starts now.
Conscious of the time limit, artists are keen to get going, but one wants to get to know his sitter first.
So, Ashley, I was just wondering, do you have an alter ego, like an internal self, that maybe we don't know about, or something that you've wanted to explore as a persona, maybe?
Hogarth Brown works for a catering team at a law firm in London. As with his self-portrait, which explores mythology and fantasy, he wants to capture more than Ashley's likeness.
I like colour and I suppose in some ways maybe dress vaguely flamboyantly.
Also, would that be like a dramatic hat?
I
maybe?
quite like drama.
I'll let you think as I get in the broad strokes.
That'll pass an hour.
Most artists are beginning to establish the composition, but just 10 minutes into painting, one canvas is utterly transformed.
A mess. I always start like this, yeah. It just gives me the opportunity later on to use the bits that are wrong. I can select them then and keep them, some wrong bits. So if I don't make any mistakes, then that's impossible.
Professional artist Christian Hook studied scientific and technical drawing, but has developed an unconventional approach to painting.
This looks about as far away from scientific and technical drawing as you can get.
Yeah.
This is emotional and expressive and...
I'm trying intentionally to get as much wrong as possible at the moment.
Oh, really?
So I can leave the bits that I
You
like.
know, I must remember that as an excuse.
Wrong bits.
While Christian decides which mistakes to keep, one artist may not have any choice.
Unfortunately, I forgot my glasses, so I wanted to do a bigger one, but so I'm trying a smaller one first. If it's not working for me, I'll change it and try and do the bigger one, so see how we're going.
Here at the National Museum of Scotland, artists are competing for the chance to win a £10,000 commission. It's to paint a portrait for the permanent collection of the Scottish National Portrait Gallery. With 3 hours left, the artists are still adjusting to their new environment.
My hands are shaking, you know. Nobody watches me when I normally paint in my studio, so I'm on my own and, you know, no distractions.
A professional artist and mother of 3, Catherine McDermott had to paint her self-portrait at night after putting the kids to bed. She chose the colours to reflect her mood.
Are you a great believer in colour being a communicative emotion?
Yes. I'm looking at what I'm seeing and trying to translate literally what I see, but I'm trying to be brave with my colour,
Yeah.
coming out of my comfort zone.
Well, it's off to a great start, and that's a lot to do with the colour, so well done.
Can I say, I'd be very happy to have your rough sketch on my wall.
This one?
Yeah, it looks great. It's amazing you can just dash one off that quickly.
Despite not going to art school, Rachel Ashton has forged ahead as a professional painter, so she's learnt what works through trial and error.
What is the purpose of doing an initial rough sketch like that? Why not just do that there?
Well, I have tried that, and it can work out, but quite often it ends up not quite in the place on the canvas I want, and also I like to do a little bit of stylisation and exaggeration, and that can only happen with a, you know, two-part process that I've found.
Sketching isn't just important for composition. For many artists, getting the drawing right is key, even if you're planning to paint over it completely.
You've got a fantastic likeness. This is an incredibly detailed drawing.
Professional figurative painter Jim Strachan referenced Rembrandt in his self-portrait, but today he just wants to focus on the sitter.
We thought you might work differently judging by your self-portrait. Or are you going to add paint onto it? Because it's...
Yes, because it's process, layers that I'm putting on. But the most important layer is the drawing.
You really need it to be exactly what you want underneath before you go on. Well, considering you've forgotten your glasses, you've done made a fantastic start.
Thanks.
Still can't believe I'm here. I'm actually painting in the Portrait Artist of the Year. It's just unbelievable. I'm just so thrilled to be here.
Part-time accountant Laura Quinn is more accustomed to working in detail from photographs, so a life model is a novelty, especially one without feathers or fur.
I just started off painting wildlife and other people's pets because I just love animals. With my animal portraits, I try to kind of convey a sense of what I think their character is, or what I think their emotion could be if they were, to have one.
Kate, there's a Bob Dylan song called Tangled Up in Blue, and you've got Gary Kemp tangled up in blue.
Yeah.
Today. That's a lot of blue. What's it all about?
Blue references a lot of artists and art movements that Gary really loves. He's a huge fan of the aesthetic period. He's very dapper, he's a bit of a dandy, and this is relating back to a period of great decadence.
I've noticed in at least one of the portraits, it's produced a sort of a David Hockney thing, which of course is a completely different period.
Yeah, exactly. What I love about that sort of Hockney-esque painting is that he's included the table and chair, which are by someone that Gary loves enormously, which is Godwin. He's been teaching me about him. He's just got such a passion and an enthusiasm for this period.
Ty, you are responsible for this set and this setting. It's in a really challenging blue. Why?
Well, in discussion with her, we were discussing about what her different households were like. So when she lived in the UK, it was happy, shabby chic, and then she went to LA, and there she's introduced this minimal style. So we thought, there's two aspects of her character, how do we combine them? So here we have a very minimalist, kind of harsh blue background and a nice flowery dress. I feel a bit for my artists. I didn't realise how strong it was till I came and I think I was posing Ashley and my eyeballs started to ache. Yes. And that was only after 5 minutes.
Kathleen, you've gone contemporary with Daniela, is that fair to say?
Yeah, I wanted to reflect something that's important to her. She loves the Scottish artist John Bellamy. He used a hell of a lot of colour, and often working in sort of bands of colour.
And I like the idea that an artist would be associated with certain colours, that he has his signature palette.
Some people are attracted to certain paintings based on the aesthetics of those colours. That's how that aesthetic response that you might get to that particular artist.
OK, so I'm probably having that experience, but not consciously. It's happening subliminally.
I think that's absolutely true.
There's a rich variety of materials and techniques in use today, from oils, acrylics and watercolours to felt tip pens, collage and cross-hatching. But some techniques are faster than others.
The finished effect of your self-portrait, can that be done in 4 hours?
I'll try to get as close to it as I can, but usually I would like a lot more time to do it.
Having lived in Taiwan for 11 years, professional painter David Lloyd was inspired by Taiwanese calligraphic art to incorporate ink into his work.
Because there was great movement in your self-portrait, and I'm just interested to see if you can reproduce that today. Feeling confident?
Yeah.
I didn't like the
Working in felt-tip pen and collage, librarian Scott Coubrough's use of ripped-up magazine articles belies his love of the written word. You're trained as a librarian.
Yeah, I work as a librarian.
But there's totally different worlds, isn't it? The world of books, literature, words. This is so entirely visual.
Yeah, I guess. They overlap in a way, I think. Because books describe things, and you have to visualise them. And they're all about emotions and feelings, and that's the same kind of thing you're trying to get out of drawing, I think.
So you've got I think the biggest palette we've had.
Thank you.
So far. You could feasibly surf home on your palette at the end of it. I don't know if you live across water.
Lynton Hemsley used to work for an ad agency as a storyboard artist, but for him, observation is just as important as narrative.
Tell me, are you? I speak to some of the artists, and they say they're trying to capture the sort of inner spirit of the. You're laughing.
Yeah, I'm just
sensing
trying to
you're
paint,
not one
I'm
of those.
just trying to paint what's in front of me.
Okay. So if she
yeah.
was a pile of house bricks, would you approach it any differently?
The truth is, for me anyway, you stop seeing it. Just becomes shapes and angles and tones and.
Okay. So you're not after an inner being. You're not chasing that.
I should say yes, shouldn't I?
No, you shouldn't say yes. I like your sort of practical nuts and bolts approach to it. I think that's heartwarming.
No matter how each artist approaches their work, the one thing they have in common is there are just 2 hours of challenge remaining.
I have the same thing with every painting. It kind of starts how I like it to go. Then I have a bit of a nosedive, which is just going through now. And then I normally pull it back from there, so now I'm just racing against time.
At the National Museum of Scotland, the 12 artists in this heat of the competition have been painting celebrity sitters Gary Kemp, Daniela Nardini and Ashley Jensen for 2 hours. And the judges have been watching.
Half time, we've got 12 artists and 3 sitters, so we want a school report.
The diversity of what's happening with Gary is great. The extraordinary kind of bright collage.
I mean, Scott's big
yeah,
drawing,
yeah, it's
I
fantastic.
think that's beginning to work very well.
Yeah, I think that could be a real contender. Jim took that beautiful, fine drawing and then a wash has gone on it and now it turns into a painting.
I think Jim's is going to come up on the inside.
Yeah.
I really, really do.
As long as he doesn't put Rembrandt in next door.
I thought Christian this morning was very exciting.
I thought it was sensational at the start.
But there's something almost too polished. I'm feeling that I'm looking at something I already know rather than looking at something which is surprising me.
There's a wonderful painting of Ashley by Catherine, which I loved this morning. It was so much great colour, and I've just gone to look at it now and I'm slightly disappointed because I don't think it's that good a likeness.
I'm slightly more interested by Laura's piece because it's really starting to emerge from that dark background, and I think she's caught something of that sort of firmness that Ashley has, but also that fragility.
Am I right in saying that you've got a maths degree?
I have.
You see, I don't understand that. I thought there were 2 types of people. I thought there were people who did maths, and then there was people who had a creative and artistic mind, and there the twain shall meet.
I really see, in the sort of painting I do, I think my mathematical brain really helps that.
Really? How?
Because I just think I'm very precise and logical, and I like things to be, just so I am quite particular.
Okay. You've got everything. You're a sort of Renaissance woman.
Now, you've had to face the problem that because there's natural light pouring into this wonderful building, the sun has started to shine in the wrong place.
It has indeed. It shone right through the canvas, which obviously meant that I couldn't see it properly. So I've had to put a board behind it so that I can concentrate on the painting a bit more again.
Yeah. Did it throw you a bit?
It did a bit. It's all right. It's all sorted now.
Lynton is painting over there, and here we have Lynton's dad, Lynton's mum, Lynton's daughter, Lynton's fiancée. So, full supporters club out today. Do you think this helps him or makes him twice as nervous?
Probably twice as nervous.
do any of you paint?
I've done a bit.
You paint? You do?
Nowhere near as good as Lynton.
No, you're such a lovely mom.
No, he doesn't get it from me.
You've seen the painting. Now, be honest, because he can't hear from here. Is this one of his best, or is he still trying? You really like it?
That's okay, but I've seen him do some...
He's drawn since he was old enough to hold a pencil.
Is that right?
He was on his hands and knees at 18-month-old.
I thought you might bring some pom-poms or something, do some proper cheerleading.
He'd kill us.
It's a really interesting experience. It's actually, I think, my natural place is to kind of be open, and I think generally probably to be smiling and talking, and I'm doing none of these things. Because my face is sort of in repose, it's not doing anything, I'm slightly kind of trepidatious about, not that I have anything to hide, but quite what they're capturing. And it's quite a sort of vulnerable place to be, actually, which I had not anticipated, actually, which is really interesting.
It's interesting watching the crowd come in and, you know, seeing their reactions. I think I'm looking for a sort of element of surprise. I think, you know, nothing to sort of like me in a way. I'm going to have a little look just before the end, because apparently it can change radically in a couple of hours.
It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I think I've struck a quite austere pose, you know, suffering for my portrait. Well, if anyone draws me with a receding hairline, I'll be upset, of course, because I don't have one. No, I don't know, you know, I mean, try and capture me, really, as the way I look. If it looks like me, then I'll be happy. But my wife will have to like it if it's going to hang on the wall.
Katie, I never like to define a woman by her partner, but you are Robin's wife.
I am.
He used to be a professional cyclist, and now he's a fireman.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, I expect artists to be quite gentle, thin people, not action men types that jump in from their bicycle to rescue someone from a fire.
I think most of his colleagues in the fire station, they know he paints, but I think they assume he's a painter and decorator. And I'm not sure he's corrected that many of them.
There's just 1 hour remaining.
Do you know, I'm actually kind of relaxed, which is quite surprising, so I'm okay so at the moment. Ask me again in an hour.
I feel as if I'm running out of time now, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Retired head teacher Maggie Johnson is the only watercolourist in today's heat. Usually a medium suited to working quickly, she's still worried about completing her painting in time.
Maggie, where's the other half gone?
Well, I made a decision that I wasn't going to finish the painting, and I decided it was better to focus on the top half rather than getting distracted and going all over the place. So,
okay, so it's almost to restrain yourself that you removed any...
I think so. I decided to go for a more focus on the face, which is where I put most of the work in.
I like this idea that you have to learn lots of rules when you learn to become an artist, then you have to kind of forget them all.
Yeah.
And I love that freedom in your work. It feels very innovative and contemporary to me.
I like the background overlapping the foreground.
Yeah.
Like playing with background and foreground.
I always feel bad when we take up the painter's time, but you're a very fast painter. And it's really enjoyable to see you sort of explode out of the starting block. So it's a very interesting painting, and we're looking forward to see how you get on.
Are you happy?
Never happy.
No.
No.
I'm always interested when artists are not happy with something like this, because it ebbs and it flows, a portrait, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In your head, Catherine, can you see the finished item now?
No.
You can't?
No, no, I can't.
Well, I can, and it looks fabulous. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
One of the things that we're familiar with artists is spending weeks, months, even years on their paintings in their studios, where they can come to them, take some time away, then come back to them and look at them afresh. The artists don't have that here, and what's astounded even me is just how much they can achieve in the 4 hours that they're painting, especially when the quality is most of the time incredibly good.
Here at the National Museum of Scotland, the artists are entering the final stages of the challenge, and there are mixed feelings.
I'm happy, and not 100%. In the circumstances that, I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm exhausted now. Just, there's so much I'd like to carry on and do with it.
Artists, you have just 10 minutes left.
I'm feeling quite stressed at the moment. I'm just trying to get the last few things done. I really wish I had another hour or so.
I'm almost wondering if I'm finished, if I'm kind of fiddling and overworking it now. I've just had enough. I'm exhausted.
I'm sweating, trying to stay calm.
It won't be long now.
Okay, no problem.
Artists, your time is up.
Please put down your brushes and step back from your easels.
It's still too much of a sketch.
At last, the sitters can see the finished paintings and get to choose their favourite to keep.
This is that dramatic moment. So, artists, can you please turn your easels?
Wow, wow. Wow, that's diverse. I think this has got a kind of gravitas about this one that I like. I mean, it reminds me of stuff from the earlier part of the 20th century, sort of modernist look. The vorticists, I think they were.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the one that probably takes my eye the most is Jim's.
So is Jim the winner?
Jim's my winner.
Thank God you forgot your spectacles. It's all turned out brilliantly.
Turn your easels round.
Wow. Do you know, it's so funny for me to see myself looking quite sad because people say, cheer up, it's not as bad as that. But my face, I know, in repose, is actually quite sad.
I didn't mean to make you look so sad.
No, it's great. No, but it is. Oh, this is just...
Sweet agony.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I think I'm going to go with Catherine.
Wow. I really don't like this bit.
No, I love it.
I mean, I totally see me in it.
Yes, so do I. I mean, you, not... I don't see me in it.
Right at the very end, you stuck your paint brush in this bright red. And I went, what's he going to do with that? And you just went...
I'll tell you what if we say that by the last bang of the bell, you have to make your mind up? Daniela, which portrait have you chosen?
I think I'm going to go for this painting here.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Well done.
While the artists enjoy a well-earned rest, the judges are left alone to review their work.
I think Hogarth has a great sense of fun. I was a little bit disappointed that he felt that the strength that was in Ashley's character needed a spear and a warrior crown.
I think I took a massive gamble, and I'm hoping that they say fortune favours the bold, so I'm hoping that the judges will look at what I've did, look at my portrait and think, you know, that I'm worth putting through.
I love the way Catherine started this painting, which is very loose with blue. And I love the idea that she hasn't used the blue in the background, but the blue's underneath. And it looks like the blue's glowing, you know, shining onto the painting.
I was just kind of pushing and pulling the tones around with the blue paint Yeah, but oil painting is very forgiving. You can, you know, you can always change it.
He's trying to, you know, navigate the foreground and the background together and give us a sense of movement. You know, things are never static, and I think he spoke about that really beautifully and drawn attention to the process of trying to capture the portrait.
It's a great likeness. He's masterly with the paint, but there's something about it that is bothering me.
I lost my drawing a couple of times, you know, but I managed to get it back at the end, so I was quite happy with that.
I really admire this painting, and I'm starting to like it a lot more.
I quite like the sharpness of the dress and actually the sort of softness of the face. I think it works very well.
I think it's a lovely painting to look at.
I'll probably relive it tonight when I'm just as I'm nodding off. Things will start popping into my mind, but it's just a blur at the minute.
I didn't like it, and the more I see it, Ashley coming out of the gloom, it's a very haunting image, isn't it?
It's not a happy portrait, but why should portraits be happy?
I feel like I captured the essence of it, of her character and her personality, so hopefully they'll think that as well.
But the judges have to agree on a short list of 3.
That's a very strong selection, isn't it?
So then how do we get those down to 3?
The judges have really been truly impressed by the standard.
But, sadly, only 3 of you can make it to the shortlist, and they have made their decision. The first artist to go through to the shortlist is Catherine McDermott.
The second artist is Laura Quinn.
The third artist to make the shortlist is Christian Hook.
Thanks and commiseration for all the rest, and a special round of appreciation for you.
I think I set myself a very difficult challenge, but I feel at least I completed everything. Maybe not to my best standard because it was only 4 hours, but it was complete.
My painting got picked for by Gary out of the 4, so I'm astounded actually, I'm really astounded.
Before deciding who goes through to the semi-final, the judges chat to the artists about their work.
I'd be interested to know, I see that in your self-portrait you've got an empty background or a very pale background. Is that how you usually work?
Not necessarily, but I think I concentrate so much on the face that the background kind of becomes insignificant. When someone sits for such a long time, you do get that kind of sad look, that concentrated look.
It's got a real presence to it, and you've captured that wistfulness, and I think you've done a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Laura, for someone who hasn't spent much time working on portraits, we were all sort of completely taken by this character that emerged from the dark, from the gloom. But is this a one-off?
No, I know I'm more used to painting animals, but I don't really see them as any different.
It's kind of charming, but also maybe she needs rescuing, I don't know.
Well, yeah.
You feel like you want to put a narrative onto it.
Yeah, when I was looking at her, she had her head tilted and those big blue eyes, I just thought she looks like a little girl lost, and kind of wanted to portray that.
Christian, well, this was really fun to watch you paint. You seem to be having a sort of a festival all to yourself on that canvas.
Well, that's how I work. I try and use every single layer that I've got like a lasagna. It's the only way that I can find to make the painting exciting for myself.
So I'm curious about you saying that you like the layering because it's the only way that you can keep the excitement for yourself. Is that because this is almost too easy for you to do, to make these portraits?
No, it's never easy, but I let the paint do whatever it wants, and then I respond to that. And in a way, it's exciting, you know, for myself.
Somehow the judges must get from 3 artists down to 1.
You have the 3 now. Is this one of those weeks where you think, we know what's the winner? Or is this a toughie?
I think we're really torn on the top 2 now, if I'm absolutely honest. And I think it's also quite clear to us which ones will be very, very popular. But then there's also some real value to this other work that we're looking at, which has a quiet strength to it, which almost has an incredible promise of something new and fresh.
It's very difficult.
I'm finding this really hard because they're all very different, and the way that the day unfolded was just full of unexpected turns.
In conversation, we're finding it very difficult to verbalise because it is very subtle what makes one thing appear better to one of us than the other.
I don't know quite what to do about that because I can't choose one over the other. That's where I am at.
You have to make your decision now. No. Well, go to it. Thank you enormously for a terrific day, which we've all enjoyed. But the final decision has been made, and it goes like this. The person going through to the semi-final is Christian Hook.
However, the judges were so impressed, so moved, so liked one of the other portraits that in a completely unprecedented move, they have insisted that another artist go through to the semi-final. This has never happened before. It's exciting. But that artist is Laura. Obviously, this is particularly tough on you, Catherine, because you did a brilliant portrait. But what about a big hand for Catherine? Fantastic.
I'm kind of relieved it's all over, because I said I didn't know whether I could go through that day again. But I'll go home to my 3 kids and say I got into the final 3.
I can't believe it. I'm just in complete shock. I just can't believe it. I mean, I knew Christian would get through. His painting was just spectacular, but for them to choose mine as well, that's just amazing.
Over the moon. I'm really, really happy, obviously, to have won it, and I'm really happy that she won it as well. Yeah, she did a great painting on the day, and I loved her self-portrait, so, you know, it's great for both of us.